So hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the RAEX-Europe Sustainability Webinars. This is already the 29th webinar in the year, so towards the finish line, the end of the year, so welcome to this new edition. Today we will be talking about the green bonds in Kazakhstan. As some of you know, there was already the first issuance, so we will be discussing this with our speakers, and also green taxonomy and what are the rules and all the requirements to issue green bonds in Kazakhstan. So it is a pleasure for us to have here Senior Business Officer Nagima Ayubaeva and Chief Business Officer Manas Gizhduaniyev. They represent Astana International Financial Center, and they will talk about the development of their own green taxonomy and the role in supporting the first green bond issuance in the country. Moreover, we're also delighted to have Adina Berikkyzy, Director of Funding and International Research Relations of Damu Fund, which is the fund which issued the first green bond. And she will share with us the specifics of the issuance and the experience they had in this project. From our side, my colleague Vladimir Gorchakov, Associate Director at RAEX-Europe, will explain the journey that we have been involved and the general involvement in the development of the green and sustainable markets in the CIS region. So without further ado, let's kick off the webinar. So Vladimir, if you could start please with your presentation.
Thank you very much, Geshwar. Thank you, everyone. I hope you can see and hear me well, see my presentation. So our rating agency is the Frankfurt am Main, Germany-based independent European rating agency, and one of our key specialization, key things is sustainable and green finance. So, for example, we are involved in the issuing first green bonds in the CIS region in 2018. We also providing first public ESG rating for Russian banks, which is Credit Bank of Moscow, and we are involved in different organizations such as UNPRI or Lux Flag. So here you can see the overall list of our sustainable finance products and services, which include two main directions, which is ESG ratings and rankings, and the second opinion for green social sustainability bonds and green sustainability linked loans as well. So focusing on different products, we would like to highlight three key topics. One of them is ESG ratings and rankings, which is very important now for the companies involved in the international financial markets. Second thing is the green, social, and sustainable bonds and loans, which is new financial product for emerging markets, and I hope my colleagues will show how this market is growing now. And finally, we launched the new product, which is ESG database of CIS and Black Sea region companies, including the ESG scores, ESG factors assessment, and by end of this year, around 100 largest Russian companies will be included to this database. So apart from this, we are still doing these credit ratings solicited for the sovereign entities from CIS and Black Sea region, and among other for Kazakhstan, which was confirmed just this summer, the level of BBB minus with a stable outlook. So going further, we are doing the screening of green and responsible finance practices based on four main criteria. So involvement of stock exchanges, central banks, and also the commercial banks and issuance of the green bonds on the market. So based on these four dimensions, we made the screening of all countries from the region which includes CIS countries and Ukraine and Georgia. So here you can see the first results, which were updated recently. So basically, as you can see, the green bonds issued so far only in Georgia, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Ukraine. And to summarize, I would highlight that Russia remains the most developed green finance market in the region, with all initiatives and almost all products already issued and materialized. However, we also would like to highlight Kazakhstan as a definitely pioneer in the Central Asia, and Georgia is a pioneer on the Caucasus market. So I hope we can share all our presentations after the event, and you can read all these materials. But to summarize, so Russia already joined the Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiative in 2019, and moreover, they have their own sustainability sector and different indexes. While in terms of green bonds, this is the largest market in the region with international and local investors. For example, 4 green bonds issuers on the MOEX sustainability sector, and we hope to have more next years. And the central bank and the commercial banks are joining the different initiatives, including the NGFS and the Principles for Responsible Banking. Belarus is a quite small financial market, and among other initiatives, we can only mention that the Belarusian Currency and Stock Exchange is a partner of the Sustainable Stock Exchanges Group from 2016. Unfortunately, there are no other significant initiatives from that time realized. The Ukraine is actually a good example. So just in November 2020, a few weeks ago, the National Bank of Ukraine has joined the AIFC Sustainable Banking Network. The Ukrgazbank remains the signatory of Principles of Responsible Banking, and there is one issuer of green bonds on international market, which is the Tech Renewables, and also, the National Securities and Stock Exchanges Market Commission of Ukraine joined the SBN group this year as well. So we hope to have speakers from these countries for our next webinars as well. And regarding the Kazakhstan, I hope this will be also covered by our colleagues. So Kazakhstan Stock Exchange is the partner of the initiative already since 2015. However, as I hope everyone knows that Astana International Financial Center is the key stakeholder for the green financial market in Kazakhstan. And moreover, apart from the issues we are going to discuss today, in November 2020, Asian Development Bank has raised almost 14 billion of Kazakh tenge with green bonds listed on the Kazakh Stock Exchange, which is the National Stock Exchange of the Republic of Kazakhstan. And the different commercial banks from Kazakhstan also involved in the initiatives of the development banks, including the AIFC and EBRD. Uzbekistan is a very promising market in our view. However, there's still no significant initiatives. It's just the first steps towards the sustainable finance, and mostly in relationship with the EBRD and other international financial institutions such as KfW. We can list such examples as IPAC Yuli Bank or Hamkor Bank, which already started to issue different green and sustainable local financial products. And just a few initiatives in Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, since these financial markets are not that developed. Mostly all of these initiatives also is involvement in the different programs from the international financial institutions. Georgia is actually the leading market in the region of Caucasus, and there are new green bonds issued by global utilities and commercial banks involved. And there are a few initiatives in the Armenia and Azerbaijan. Saying that, I would like to also show our initiatives in the sustainable market here in Frankfurt. So last year we organized the first International Forum for Responsible Investments in the CIS region. And everyone is welcome for the this year forum, which is unfortunately online due to the pandemic, but you see that how many sessions and speakers we already have, and some confirmed speakers. And we see that basically also you can check our series of webinars, which were over the last year. So it's already 28 webinar performed, and today is 29 webinar. And everyone is welcome for the next webinar, which is sustainability reporting in Russian, the 2nd of December. And the next webinar at the end of the year is EU carbon regulatory risk. So saying that, I would like to stop sharing my screen and giving the microphone back to my colleague, Hector.
Thank you, Vladimir, for a very interesting presentation, very good overview of what is going on in the CIS region, South Caucasus region. So all the participants and potential investors in these regions have a very good now summary of what stage these markets are developing in terms of sustainability. So now I will give the floor to our colleagues from Astana Financial Center, Manas and Nagima. So please, you can start with, go ahead with your presentation.
Victor, thank you for introduction, and good evening to those in Kazakhstan. Good afternoon to those listening in Europe and Russia. Glad to be a part of this webinar today. And I'd like to thank RAEX team for organizing this event, for giving this opportunity to present AIFC Green Finance Center and introduce green finance market in Kazakhstan overall. And let me share my presentation now. Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So as you know, Kazakhstan is an open economy country, and therefore all global trends, including those related to transition to low carbon economy or to green economy, influence us as well. Kazakhstan being an active member in the process of transition to low carbon economy, has ratified more than the 22 UN environmental conventions, including Kyoto Protocol and also Paris Climate Agreement, under which Kazakhstan has to cut its greenhouse gas emissions by 25% from the 1990 level. So it is evident that meeting these commitments needs a lot of money, funding sources from private sector, and here capital market plays a crucial role. And here Astana International Financial Center was.
Sorry, Madas, sorry for interrupting. Maybe could you try to go full screen on your presentation so we can look at it better? So you go to the left of the.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it, but.
The right one, the right icon, the icon on the right, sorry.
Can you share my presentation, please? Because I couldn't do it. If you have one.
No, I think we cannot share your presentation. But if you go down, the third icon, that one, you can press there.
Okay, thank you. Good.
There you go. Okay, continue.
So AIFC, Astana International Financial Center, was established with the aim of developing well-functioning capital market in Kazakhstan and the Central Asia region. Going to the next slide, I present AIFC Green Finance Center Ltd. Our center initially was launched as a structural division within the AIFC authority in June 2018, and it was separated as a legal entity in December 2019. Our shareholders are AIFC and the Eurasian Development Bank, which is an international financial institution funded by Russia and Kazakhstan with the mission to facilitate the development of capital markets in its member states, and other members of the bank are Armenia, Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. So our overarching mission of AIFC Green Finance Center is to accelerate the transition of Kazakhstan to low carbon economy through mobilizing capital. And to do this, we focus on the following strategic directions. Firstly, it's the creation and development of capital market for green finance instruments. The goal of this direction is to form a stable market for green finance instruments through the development of administrative measures facilitating the issue and the trade of green bonds on the Astana International Exchange. So in this regard, with the support of international experts, we have developed a legal framework for green finance in Kazakhstan, including concept of introduction of green finance and strategy of AIFC regional leadership in green finance until the year 2025, which reflects the main stages of institutional development of green finance in Kazakhstan. Also in 2018, we have developed RAEX green bond rules. They are based on ICMA green bond principles and climate bond standards. They were also revised by experts from CBI, Climate Bonds Initiative, and these rules contain categories of green projects adapted from green bond principles and a description of types of external review and the requirements for post-issuance reporting activities. And this year, our center, AIFC Green Finance Center, also took part in drafting legislation on a national level. So we participated in drafting a new environmental code of Kazakhstan through including definitions of green financial instruments such as green loans, green bonds, and the green taxonomy itself. So today, the AIFC Green Finance Center, together with international experts, is working on the development of green taxonomy for Kazakhstan, which is a classifier of green projects. And as you know, different countries have their own taxonomy. For example, we know European Union taxonomy, Mongolian, Chinese taxonomy, and these taxonomies have their own vision, taking into account particular countries' specifics of economy. So as you know, as you can see, a huge work have been performed by our center to accelerate the growth of Green Finance Center in Kazakhstan. So here you can see a map of our partners. As you can see, all the parts of the world is covered of our partnership. The power of partnership allows us to expand our reach, working with the right range of partners to deliver our mandate on the development of green finance and sustainable finance. International financial institutions like World Bank, European Bank, for Reconstruction and Development, Eurasian Bank, and the Asian Development Bank remain our chief partners. We also work with closely work with UN agencies such as UNDP, UNEP, and knowledge platforms such as Green Growth Forum, Tsinghua University, also international financial centers such as Casablanca Finance City, FC4S, and also with our local stakeholders. And here you can see some support services that AIFC Green Finance Center can provide as a development institution. So we provide strategic and the business consulting on the development of green and social finance in Kazakhstan and Central Asia, including the development of regulatory documents. And for companies considering attracting funds through the issuance of green and social bonds on the AIX, we can provide also a wide range of advisory and external review services, including preparation of green bond, social bond framework, external review in the form of second-party opinion, and also listing documents. For stimulation of the development of green finance market in Kazakhstan, we have developed also mechanism for reimbursing expenses of external review costs. So any entities, whether foreign or local, can apply for reimbursement of their expenses related to obtaining one of the available versions of external review. As was mentioned, we continually working on capacity building in the field of green finance through organizing the Green Growth Forum, conducting seminars, trainings, and presentations for stakeholders, including potential issuers, potential investors, also market players. We know that green finance market, also green bonds, are still new and novel products for potential issuers and investors, also marketplace. That's why ongoing capacity building seminars, workshops, presentations are held by our organization. And in terms of raising awareness in 2018, we created the first in Central Asian dialogue platform for green finance in the form of annual International Green Growth Forum. Today, Green Growth Forum has become already the main platform for sharing knowledge in the field of green finance and the main green finance event in the Central Asia. Looking back, we can say that less than 1 year has passed since the AIFC Green Finance Center established as a separate organization, and a huge work has been performed during this period. And first of all, 2020 will remain in the history of Kazakhstan as year of the issuance of debut green bonds for Kazakhstan. So this summer, Fund Damu listed issued green bonds on the Astana International Exchange. This was the first securities which comply with the AIX green bond rules and the green bond principles of ICMA. And from our part, we provided full support of the project and provided also second external review in the form of second party opinion, which is based on the assessment of the issuer's green bond framework with the requirements of AIX green bond rules and the requirements of green bond principles of ICMA. As mentioned before, this year we also launched the program on the reimbursement of the external review expenses of green bonds issuers. Within this program, potential issuers of green bonds have the have the right to apply for the reimbursement if they issue green bonds on the AIX, and if they channel proceeds from green bonds into green projects in the Republic of Kazakhstan. Even though we are currently operating as a development institution from the beginning 2022, there will be fee structure for our services. As was mentioned before, we provide agency services to support the issuance of green and social bonds, including preparation of internal documents and the company policies, preparation of an external review, financial and legal consulting in our plans, ensuring listing on AIX, post-reporting and verification within 1 year after issuance of green bonds. Also, we conduct research, develop concepts, strategies, policies, and the reports on sustainable financing and the new financing instruments. And also, we provide consulting services on attracting investments in funds under management, also do financial environmental support of municipalities, industrial companies. We provide preparation of annual reporting of green and social bond issues. Also accompany carbon-intensive companies in obtaining voluntary carbon credits on the basis of the AIFC jurisdiction. We also do fundraising on environmental funds on the basis of agency agreements. I think this is it from my part, and I will give floor to my colleague, Nagima. Nagima, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, my microphone was turned off.
There
So
you go.
yes, thank you, Manas, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Nagima. I am Senior Business Officer at the AIFC Green Finance Center. Today, I'll continue with this presentation and talk in more details about Green Finance Center's products and other support measures. So let's begin. Since our center's main product is green bonds, it's a kind of traditional instrument of green finance, it's important to understand the process of green bond issuance on the AIX and the role, previous slide, and the role of Green Finance Center in it. So basically there are 4 types of participants in the green bond market. They are issuers, they are consultants, they are stock exchanges and investors. So issuers could be any supranational institutions such as multilateral development banks like Eurasian Development Bank, EBRD, ADB, like public entities, municipal, state, federal and private companies, both financial and non-financial, financial like commercial banks, for example, and non-financial like energy and utility companies. Consultant firms consist of green consultants like our AIFC Green Finance Center, which provides pre-issuance external review in the form of the second party opinion, which is basically assessment of the issuer's green bond framework and analyzing the greenness of eligible projects. It also could be financial consultants like lead managers and underwriters, and also legal consultants. Investors are represented by retail investors and institutional investors. So when potential issuer of the green bonds who has a green project and seeks financing in the on the capital markets, he contacts our center for consulting purposes, and our center in turn, which has corresponding experience, we advise the issuer on the compliance of its project with requirements of AIX rules. AIX is our Astana International Exchange, and yes, and following that, the governing body of the issuer, for instance, board of directors, they make a decision to issue green bonds to finance their green projects. And after that, the issuer chooses financial and legal consultant firms. Next step is when the issuer submits a full package of documents, including like a bond prospectus to the AIX, including bond prospectus, prospectus, green bond framework, second party opinion, then audited financial statement together with application for the listing on the AIX. So after that, our AIX with AFSA, it's our regulator body, they review the applied documents, and lastly, after approval, green bonds are listed and admitted to the trading on the AIX platform. Next, please. Yes, so an important step was the development of rules for the issuing green bonds on the AIX, which are based on the ICMA's green bond principles and the climate bonds initiative systematics. So these AIX green bond rules, they provide definition of green bonds. They also define the criteria of green projects that can be financed through the issuance of green bonds. As well as the issue procedure itself. So according to these AIX green bond rules, eligible green project categories include renewable energy, energy efficiency, pollution prevention and control, sustainable management of living natural resources, also terrestrial and aquatic biodiversity conservation, clean transportation, sustainable water management, climate change adaptation, eco-efficient products production, technologies and processes, and also green buildings. Next, please. Yeah, so let's take a closer look at the global green bond market. Figure on the right shows how the market has been increasingly diversifying with new issuers entering, and started in 2007 by multilateral development banks. Now market has been mostly led by public sector issuers, either by municipalities, by government agencies, by state-backed entities like Damu Fund, and by national and international multilateral development banks. Yes, but the latest trends show that the corporates now occupying an increasing market share, and also this diversification in green bond issuers is also mirrored by a similar trend in the use of proceeds for green bonds. Although energy projects remain a primary use of green bonds, started from 2014 to 2018, the share from energy has declined, while that of green buildings, green transport, and water has grown. Next, please. So issuing green bonds has several financial and non-financial benefits for both investors and issuers. Among them, diversification of source of financing, meaning that green bonds, they enable the issuer to broaden their funding base by gaining access to the sustainable, to socially responsible investors. Also, it's could be green halo effect. It's one of the positive externalities. So from issuing green bonds, it's when which is increasing the stock prices. Also, it's cheap financing from such global organizations like a Green Climate Fund, like Global Environment Fund. Also could be due to the economic incentive measures such as subsidizing the coupon rates. Also, green bonds enhances companies' reputation and confirms its sustainability commitments. Also, it could lead to decrease of environmental costs, meaning that decrease of any fees and expenses connected with the deterioration of natural assets or resources due to economic activities. And of course, it's alignment with international standards, which provides confidence for investors regarding their investment. Next, please. Yeah, so we reached cooperation part. So the AIFC is one of the Kazakhstan's key investment attractors. It's unique institution for the Eurasian Economic Union and Central Asia. It's established to support the inflow of investment and the development of the domestic financial market. So therefore, cooperation with the AIFC implies a number of advantages for all interested parties. So among them, for example, like a transaction of AIFC participants may be denominated and executed in any currency agreed between them. For example, trade at AIX can be executed in US dollars, in euros, in Chinese yuans, in rubles, in tenge. Also, IFC law is developed based on experience of common law countries. The IFC court is region's very first independent common law court system for the resolution of civil and commercial disputes. Also, the official language of AIFC is English, and so it means that all court proceedings, records, all operations, transactions must be made in English language. Also, we have a preferential tax regime, meaning that IFC participants and their foreign employees are exempted from any taxes on different income sources. Also, IFC has, moreover, IFC has acts that allows the transfer of companies from other jurisdictions, and additionally, our stock exchange is a recognized stock exchange. Moreover, there are 15 types of organizational legal forms for incorporating new legal entities. For example, a company can be created with a share of capital of $1 only. And also, lastly, but not least, AIFC provides visa support to foreign citizens on a one-stop shop basis. Next. Thank you. The first step towards cooperation with us is signing of a memorandum of understanding as well as a non-disclosure agreement. The memorandum of understanding covers mainly the following areas of cooperations, such as conducting joint analytical and research work in the areas of interest, also conducting joint activities for the issuance of green and social bonds on the AIX, moreover, mutual promotion of the parties at the regional and international level, and also participation as speakers or partners in seminars, conferences, business forums, and other events organized by our centers. That's all. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, we are very welcome at the end of the webinar to answer. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Nagima and Manas. Very good work being done over there in the International Financial Center. Very thorough explanation of all the rules that you have developed, the green taxonomy, and all the procedure to get listed in Kazakhstan for green bonds. So thank you very much for this. And yeah, definitely the Astana Financial Center, a key participant in the development of the green finance market in Kazakhstan. So thank you very much. Before we continue, I want to remind you that you can use the chat to send your questions. If you want to send the questions anonymously, then you can just send them directly to me, Hector Alvarez, or otherwise you can just write in the chat your questions, and then at the end we'll go over them. So please don't forget to ask your questions. So again, thank you very much. Now we will give the floor to Adina. So she will be talking about the first issuance of a green bond in Kazakhstan. So Adina, please, yep, go on.
Yes, so hello everyone for introduction. Please allow me to, and then we'll start.
Yeah, so we can see your presentation. Can you go full screen?
Yeah.
All right.
So thank you for having me here today. Thank you, RAEX, for organizing this webinar. My name is Adina Berikkyzy. I am Director of the Funding and International Relations Department at Damu Fund. Firstly, going through my presentation, I will give you a brief introduction about the Damu Fund, and then we will go further with the green bond issuance and some examples with the green projects that supported by Damu. So Damu Entrepreneurship Development Fund was established based on the decree of the government of the Republic of Kazakhstan in 1997. So 100% of the Damu Fund holds national management holding by Terek. So it's good to mention that the board of directors of the Terek holding are chaired by the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kazakhstan. So the main mission of Damu Fund is to play an active role in the sustainable development of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in Kazakhstan through the implementation of comprehensive and effective support tools. On this slide, this is the instruments of support. So Damu provides enterprises with three main support tools. It's interest rate subsidizing, providing guarantees to SMEs, and conditional placement of funds in the second-tier banks or microfinancial organizations under the preferable interest rates. So Damu also provides online training for entrepreneurs, and thanks to established cooperations with our international partners, Damu also is able for entrepreneurs abroad. Damu and United Nations Development Program in Kazakhstan have successfully organized operation of various programs that provide support to green projects. So I will tell in detail more later. In the context of today's reality, I would like to highlight that Damu is one of the main instruments of state support for entrepreneurs during the COVID-19 pandemic. So during this period, Damu supported more than 6,000 entrepreneurs by providing the subsidies, restructuring the loans, and the guarantees to the SMEs. As my colleagues mentioned before, and as you know, as you already know, in August 2020 this year, in the partnership with UNDP Kazakhstan and AIFC Green Finance Center, Damu issued debit green bonds on Astana International Exchange in the amount of 200 million tenge with the maturity of 36 months. So the coupon rate reached on the level is 11.75%. So this placement is the first listing of securities that comply with the green principles in accordance with the AIFC green bond rules. And on behalf of Damu, I would like to thank our good partners for making this achievement possible in 2020, even with all complications that came with COVID-19 pandemic. So the use of proceeds of the bonds is to finance the green project in renewable energy sector. Then out of the joint efforts, Damu and UNDP projects that have potential of energy saving and reducing CO2 emissions. There are currently 2 programs available for the support sustainable city for low carbon development and the renewable energy projects. Within these programs, Damu and UNDP provide subsidies and concessional loans. So interest rates can be subsidized up to 10% for 3 years. And partners also may have an opportunity of reimbursement the principal amount of the loan up to 25%. So these conditions are available for small and medium loans up to 350 million tenge. That's around 800,000 USD in equivalent. So let me give you several examples. Project that was supported by Damu in the frame of. So one of the examples is the heat-saving project in an engineering university of in Astana. This is the city in Kazakhstan. So due to the participation of the project, the energy savings amounted to 20.4%. Then another project is financing a complex project that include both renewable energy and energy saving at a tourist venue in Akmola region called Parus. This venue has several buildings that were previously heated with the coal, and water was heated with the electric boilers. But these tools were replaced by the solar collector heaters and more ecological gas heating. So this replacement resulted in cost reduction for this kind of project and eventually on pricing for accommodation. the last but not least, the project that was, as an example, it's a project supported was changing in equipment on taxiways at Almaty International Airport in order to provide better visibility for landing aircraft. So as a result, energy consumption was reduced up to 60%. Fuel consumption reduced by 421 tons per year. And also it provides the CO2 emissions, the reducing of the CO2 emissions. In conclusion of my presentation, I want to mention that Damu has an extensive network of international partners and continues to establish cooperation with international organizations and development institutions abroad. So I would like to welcome participants of the reach out and discuss possible cooperation with Damu that will benefit micro, small, and medium enterprises. Yes, this is the last slide. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Adina, thank you very much for your presentation. It's very interesting. All the projects that your fund has been able to perform. And I was seeing from your presentation, not only environmental, but social projects, which are very, very important nowadays and will become more important in the future. So thank you very much. And so far, we have 3 questions. So the first one says, I think this is directed for Manas and Nagima from the Astana Financial Center. As I understand, you provide the listing service and also the external review. How do you manage any conflict of interest that could potentially arise from this? And do you allow independent companies to perform the external review as well? So who wants to take this question? Manas, Nagima?
I will take this question. Yes, we do provide external review in the form of second opinion, second party opinion, but we provide listing services with the help of our partners. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we could hear
you.
Sorry, yeah, now you can hear me, right? Okay, thank you. Do you want to add something to that, Nagima, or should we go to the next question?
No, I think Manas actually answered this question, because like we only provided second party opinion, like external review in the form of second party opinion, and regarding the listing and other procedures, it was other company like financial consultants.
So we have
and legal.
Signed MOUs with local financial and legal advisors, so they provide their services with best condition for potential issues of green bonds.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So I guess that's clear enough. We have another question. I think this is for Adina. Were there any international investors participating in this issuance?
Yes, thank you for the question. There is no international participants, but because I think mostly that was issued in local currency, Kazakh tenge, and the amount that was issued was not so big. So we, the investors, the local institutional investors, it's banks and corporate companies. And
Okay,
it's good to mention that the bonds was like bought in 30 minutes, I guess, after the announcement.
Okay, that's really good news. Actually, yeah, in general, all the green financing, well, basically here in Europe and mostly all over the world is usually oversubscribed. So that's pretty good news for the development of sustainability, of the sustainable market. So that's all the questions from the audience.